virtual attendees for my Christmas Fun 2024 event. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me in this fun little event that we're going to create some giftables and some Christmas cards. So let's get started. Let's talk about some basic supplies that you want to gather. So in your kit, you're going to find a package of the peppermint adhesive embellishments. That's a half a package, so you'll have some to use in the event, and then you'll have lots to use on other projects. They're super cute. They're very flat, so they don't add a lot of depth or dimension to your project, so have fun with those. You'll need some scissors. If you like to use the Take-A-Pic tool, I do, then you can grab that. You'll need some adhesives. These are the ones I suggest, but use what you have. So this is tear tape, dimensionals, glue dots. I like to use the liquid glue and Scotch tape. Also, you'll want to gather for each project on your PDF. If you look, you'll see what color ink you need and some stamp sets. And you can always just use what you have in your inventory. You don't have to use exactly what I've used. Okay, so let's get started. Let me move these adhesives off and we'll get started on the very first project. All right, here is our first little project. You'll find a little 3x3 envelope, and we're going to make this fun little card that includes a Christmas poem and some Christmas tea. I think this project would be really good too. Also, if someone is ill and you want to give them maybe some tea to make them feel better. The tea I got at Winco, it's made by Bigelow, and it's Cranberry Harvest. And they had other flavors too. So if you don't want to get cranberry, there was, I think, a chocolate peppermint, and there was also some kind of a pumpkin one. So there were several different choices. I don't remember about how much this was. I want to say it's around $3 for a box, and you get 18 in there. And it's a holiday tea, so it's something you'll want to grab quickly. You can also find it on Amazon, but it was a little more expensive on Amazon. So let's open up your package. You've got a little 3x3 envelope. You've got your tea. You've got some DSP. And then you've got this little basic white to stamp your image in. You've got the poem. If you'd like to have more of this poem and you don't want to type it out yourself, just let me know and I'll send you a sheet that you can print through your printer. And the stamp pad that I used for this one is Cherry Cobbler. Any shade of red will probably do. And then the stamp set that I used is one of our paper pumpkin. You're going to find I used a lot of paper pumpkin stamps in this event. I really want to help you find more ways to use your paper pumpkin stamps. And the sentiments, frankly, are just fantastic. So they come in really useful. So the one that I used says, "May the holiday warm your heart." May this holiday warm your heart, but any kind of Christmas sentiment. Or like I said, if you want to use this for a get well, just don't put the poem in. All right, so let's get started by stamping that sentiment with the Cherry Cobbler and the little basic white piece. And then just it's glue and assemble. I'm going to close this up, that away. Okay, I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'm going to use my dimensionals. And we're going to glue the sentiment to the Cherry Cobbler piece. And then just kind of center that up. And then I used a couple of dimensionals on the back of the tea to help hold it in to the DSP. Now it is a little bit long, so you can fold this over just a smidge and it fits a little bit better into the DSP piece. I had to cut the DSP to fit the envelope, so it's the T is just a little bit too long, but if you fold it over right at the top, it fits perfect. And you could just stick it in there if you didn't want to use a dimensional. I just think it's cute when it's in there. They can pull it off pretty easily. Now you can put a dimensional on this as well, or you can just use glue. It's pretty thick, so I'm just going to use glue. And then just kind of center that. The DSP is cut to 3x6, and then you just score it at 3 in case you want to make more of these. And I put on the PFD which DSP it is. It's actually not a Christmas DSP. I just thought the colors went good with the T. And then that poem goes right in the middle. Okay, and then you just let that sit and let the glue dry, and you're good to go. It fits right inside that little envelope. I'm going to leave it sitting out so that it can dry. Okay, let's move on. That was quick and easy. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is a card. So in this class, you are going to make 3 giftables and 3 cards, and then you have a bonus project. When I got all through designing this, I had enough supplies left over to make a bonus project, so I'll talk to you about that at the very end. This has got a cute little fold, and it uses the Sentimental Christmas DSP. And then the stamp set that I used is called Humble Home, and it's a bundle. It does have this cute little punch that goes with it. It's from the current mini catalog. And if you don't have that, don't worry. I'm going to give you some alternate ideas here on how to create this. All right, let's get our little kit out. So you want to be careful when you open this one because there's quite a few little bits and pieces in it. All right, we're going to start by folding. You have a scored line, so you're going to fold that back. And you can use a bone folder if you have it, or you can use, like I just did, to kind of set that crease in there. The Take a Pick tool. You can also use the edge of your scissors if you don't have a bone folder. All right, let's lay our DSP pieces out so that we can get those on there. This one goes on this flap, and this one goes on this right here. Oh, we want our Christmas trees to be going in the right direction. Okay, so that's what we need to glue. All right, so I'm going to use liquid glue. You can use whatever glue. Oh, and if you want the other side, you can use the other side too. I think I'm going to stick with the side that I had. That's the fun thing about the DSP. If you want a different side than what I chose, you can do what you want. And this DSP is like old-fashioned Christmas. Reminds me when I was a little kid. I really love it. All right, let's get that. This goes on the edge. The dimensions for the fold are on the PDF. So if you want to recreate this little fun fold, you do have that information. You don't have to measure it out yourself. Okay, we'll set that to the side, and then we will decorate the panel. All right, so here we go. This little panel, we got this cute little house. And so you can put your sentiment here, and if you don't have this sentiment or this stamp set, which I don't think too many of you do have it, then just find something that you like. Look at your paper pumpkin stamps. Pretty sure you'll find some stuff in there. My ink is Early Espresso, but you could easily use a green or a red. And then I used the house on here, and then you just stamp that in there. But because I know a lot of you guys don't have the house, I'm actually going to do a couple of different little things to embellish this. So look at your stamp, see if you have something that says house on it. Stamp that in the center, so you have a sentiment then instead of the house. It still looks like a house image. And then if you use a little sponge, and maybe you want to use red or a different color, you can go around the edge of the house. So I've got a little sponge, and then I'm using real red, which is the same color as your card base. Just go around the edges a little bit, and you could do this with brown, but I just thought it might make it look a little more Christmassy with the red. Okay, so you could leave it at that if you wanted to. also go in and make some stitch lines around the edge. I'm using an early espresso marker. So you could just do some dashes, dot, dot, dash, 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 and just go around the whole house and give it a little more finished look. If you don't have early espresso, use black. That would look fine too. All right, so it's still really cute, and then you can add some peppermints in there too. Let's get a couple of those peppermints on here. And you could actually do the whole house in peppermints if you wanted. You go all around the edge. You've got plenty. Okay, so I'll let you guys play with that. If you don't have this, there's some alternate ideas how to finish that off and still have it look really cute. All right, let's glue these pieces down and get them glued to the card base. All right, now you do want to be careful when you glue this down to your card base, because you don't want any glue on this side here so that the card will open. That makes sense? So you can either use a couple dimensionals in the middle or just put a strip of glue down, whatever you feel like doing, kind of right in the middle. Okay, isn't that cute? So I think it's just as cute with the house as it is without the house. So that gives you an idea how to do an alternate if you don't have the house bundle. And speaking of the house bundle, that is in the mini catalog, and the mini catalog ends, I believe it's January 6th, but things are going to start selling out of that catalog. So if you want to order something, I would encourage you to do it sooner rather than later. There will be a last chance list published in early December, and there may be some things on sale. So watch for that. I'll be posting that on my blog. It'll also be on my Facebook page. Okay, let's move on to project number 3. All right, this is our yearly calendar project. I hope you like it. I've been doing these calendars for, I don't know, like 15 years. It's getting really hard to find new ideas and not repeat anything that we've already done. So hopefully you like this one. This one took me a while to figure out an idea because sometimes I just walk around in stores. All right, so here is the frame. This is actually a photo frame, and I got them at Walmart. So it's a front loading frame, so you have to push it out. Be careful, this is glass. So you push it out, pull this out, and then get your DSP out. This DSP is called Regal Winter. It's also in the mini catalogs. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. And then you put your DSP inside the frame. And put the frame back in. And you can use whatever side of the paper you want. Come on, glass, get back in there. Okay, paper. That. Let's see, where did the back of the front? Oh, geez. I just put that in backwards. Durr. Okay, there we go. Now this pops off, and then this is how it holds up. And it's a little bit tricky. You got to get it inside these guys. So you might have to play with it a little bit. I had to play with mine. It's plastic, so it's kind of takes a bit. Anyway, I don't want to put it on there right now because I need to put these things on it. But this is how it stands up, and I did have to play with it a little bit to get it to fit in there. You'll see there's a little fitting that goes right inside up at the very top. All right, now we have our calendar and then the numbers. I did not do any stamping on this because when I finished it, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to cover the paper, but you can do whatever you want. So I used the liquid glue, but you can use the fine tip glue pen. I know a lot of you guys like that, and I know it's a really good product, but for some reason I struggle with it. So I just like to use this. All right, and on this, you can either use the fine tip glue pen or the liquid glue, or you can use the tear tape. I'm going to use the tear tape just so that I can continue on with the project. Otherwise, it would need to lay flat for a bit so that it didn't move. Be careful with these mini calendars. I noticed on some of them when I was taking them out of the package, the January, it's easy to pull off and you don't want to do that. But if you do happen to do it, you can take a piece of tape and then just kind of glue it on there or hold it on there. Okay, so kind of center that up. All right, now I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of each one of these numbers. And this is just a little tiny bit because you don't want too much coming out and ending up on the frame. You just dab it. If you don't like the glue and you don't have the fine tip glue, you could also maybe roll up a mini glue dot. All right, there's the two. And then the little mini calendars, I got those at Ben Franklin in Bonnie Lake. And last time I was up there, they didn't have any. So if you decide you want to get some more, I would give them a call before you drive there. They'll set them aside and hold them for you because I didn't have enough initially. And then they got a few more in and I was able to get 2 more and I called them and they held them for me. And I went up and got them that night. They went up in price. When I first was buying these, they were $3.95 for a pack of 10. And then when I went up to buy those extra 2 ones, they were $5.95 for 10, or yeah, $5.49 or something like that. So they went up like $1.50 in the matter of a few weeks. You can also get them online at Taylor Expressions. And I'll put that stuff in the PDF. I'm sure there's other places where you could find them too. Okay, I'm not going to put that backing on because I want all this to set up and dry. But that's how it finishes out. You might want to leave that on if you're giving it to the back and just leave the directions if you're going to give it as a gift, especially if you're going to mail it, because I think if you put it on and mail it, it's going to be an accident waiting to happen. Okay, so that is that finished project. I hope you like it. And I hope I'm able to come up with another idea next year if I decide to do this class. Okay, let's move on. So next is our gift card holder. And you could always do this just as a Christmas card if you don't want to do any gift cards. And the pocket would also hold some cash if you want to do cash instead of a gift card or a check. All right, so let's pull out the things, all the things. This one has a few things in it. And then the wreath that I used is actually a older paper pumpkin kit. So if you have that, grab that out. There's tons of wreath stamp sets, so look for that if you don't have that. And if you don't have that, then just use something else. The images or the sentiments are from the greetings of the season. So I use the love and joy in the middle. And then may your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration is what I used on the side. I believe this is one of the online exclusive products. And speaking of the online exclusive products, you'll really want to watch what they're releasing in January. There's some beautiful new stamp sets, and a lot of them that are coming out in January, right in time for celebrations. Okay, the ink that I used is Real Red Spot for the Love and Joy, and then Shaded Spruce. But if you don't have Shaded Spruce, any green will do, or any red will do. Use what you have. All right, so let's get things stamped up here. First, we're going to start with the wreath. And I'm just going to test it and make sure I got enough ink on it. Yep, I do. Because you want to center that up with the circle punch as best you can. And then go ahead and do our sentiment on the side. Oh, I have green ink on my fingers. What's new? Test that. And again, if you don't want to make a gift holder, just make this a Christmas card. Nobody will know. Okay, and then we need to get that other little sentiment in the middle of the wreath. Close this up and put it away. And if you don't have a red ink spot, of course, just use a red ink pad. Okay, all right. Now we're ready to assemble. All right, let's start with the inside pocket. You can use whatever side of the DSP you would like. And I was using a lot of different scraps to try to get this all to come together and have enough for everybody. So on this, you can either use a little bit of glue or tear tape, but you want to leave the top open so you can slide the gift card or the cash in. And you want to go right almost to the edge so that you don't glue down too much and you can't get your gift card in. I'll put that in there. All right, and then let's put some peppermints on the wreath. I did 3. You can do however many you want. And then we'll put a glue dot and get that ribbon down. And these glue dots are leftovers from one of the paper pumpkin kits. I love how generous Paper Pumpkin is with the dimensionals and the glue dots. I always have extras. I just think the Paper Pumpkin kits are the bomb, basically. We get a stamp set, we get a spot every month, and there's always leftover adhesives. It's so reasonable. It's only $25 a month, plus your local tax. So you usually get at least 9 projects. This month's had 8. Next month has 9. All right, and that goes in there. And then I did put a couple dimensionals behind this and centered it up. All right, what do you think? I love this card. I love the colors. Again, this is that Sentimental Christmas DSP. I use the heck out of that this year for events. I actually went through almost 2 packs between this class and my team meeting. Okay, there we go. What do you think? Oh, I love it. All right, let's move on. All right, now we've got this fun little pouch. And you'll crack up when you find out what the inspiration for this was. Okay, so it looks like that. And inside is a little package of walnuts. Again, I found these at Winco. So when I get ready to start designing this class, I kind of just go to like several different stores looking for small, affordable gift items. And then I design the project. So I found these at Winco and I thought, gosh, those are, you know, something different than candy or cookies and somewhat healthy. I mean, they're not perfect because they do have salt in them. And then I came home and I had recently purchased this die set called Thoughtful Pockets. So it's huge. So then I thought, well, I think I can make a little pouch. So that's what we're doing. We're making a little pouch here. You use the Thoughtful Pockets dies, and you'll need 2 of them to make the pouch. So let's go ahead and open your kit and get things out, and then we'll talk about how you assemble this. All right, this has got a lot of little things in it. It's got tags, it's got some baker's twine, it's got the treat, it's got star, it's got that DSP, and your DSP might look a little different than this. It's all from the Sentimental Christmas, and then you have 2 dies. So you want to start by folding those dies up, find the folds. We're going to put them together to make the pocket or the pouch. Okay, and then we are going to use the tear tape. You can use liquid glue if you don't have tear tape or some other kind of adhesive. Use what you have. I like using the tear tape. I think it's easier to deal with when you're trying to put stuff like this together, and it generally holds really well. So you want to cover all 3 folds on one of the pockets. Stick into my hand. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to trim that off. It went a little over the edge, and I don't want that to impact the project. Okay, so that's trimmed off. All right, before we actually glue this together, I'm going to go ahead and put this down. So you can use either side. You can use the snowflakes if that's what you got, or whatever piece you have, decide. Oops, this went over my pocket. All right. Now I'll put that in the middle of that. Okay, we're going to let all this sit for a second. Let that dry. I'll work on the stamping part of this. Okay, so this I used, it's called the Sweetest Star Bundle. And it is a stamp set with a coordinating punch. And it's also from the January, or the mini catalog that ends in January. So again, it might be something that's going to retire. And if you don't have that, then I'm going to give you some alternate ideas. So I'm going to bring that sponge back out again. And we're going to go ahead and get the red stamp pad. And then your words. And I just got from on here. You can put whatever you want on it. I just thought if you're giving this to someone, you're handing it to them, you can say that it's from you. And then we'll stamp that. That down there. All right, now, if you don't have the Sweetest Star, you can put a sentiment in there of your choice. So we could do a Merry Christmas. Let's see, I'm grabbing a sentiment because I didn't think to do this before. We can do this one. And if you're going to make more of these, you could even use the Baking Spirits Bright. Like this little pouch, I think, would fit a nice sized cookie. We'll use this one right here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and go around the edge of the star like I did on the little house, just to make that kind of pop. And you could do the same thing, the dots, if you want, with the marker. We'll add a couple of the cute little peppermints. I'm doing 3 different sizes on this one. I think some pretty cute little small gifts would fit in this pouch too. Maybe a pair of socks. or a pair of thong underwear. Okay, I'm gonna pull the tear tape apart, or the cover, pull it apart. I'll just take the cover off the tear tape. All right, and then we're gonna put this together. So start by lining up the two sides. You want to be kind of careful because once you get this tear tape down, don't push it down until you know you've got it lined up right, because it sticks pretty good. All right, so there's that. Let's do the bottom next. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, now put your ribbon on before you put your punched and stamped images on. So wrap that around and tie it on the side. And if you're worried about the ribbon sliding off, you can put a glue dot back behind there. Mine feels like it's gonna be okay without a glue dot, but you can certainly put one on there. You can trim these edges because the ribbon's gonna be a little bit long. I always give you a little extra so it's easier to tie. Okay, and then I used a couple of dimensionals behind the star. Well, let's get that on. You guys use the edges of your dimensionals like I'm doing here. Don't throw those away because they work just like the regular ones. Just trim it off. Probably don't need too many. Okay, stick that on there. All right, now take the twine. And put the little from, run that through the from. And then I just tied a, oh, that isn't how you need to do that, Deb. So you can tie a bow or just tie a knot. Only one end of the twine needs to go through, otherwise it's gonna fall off. Apparently I need another cup of coffee. It's early Sunday morning. Okay, let's trim these off. All right, there you go. And then you pop your walnuts or whatever your little gift is inside. Isn't that cute? Great idea, huh? Let's spread those nuts out a little bit. They're not quite so thick. They all kind of gathered at one end. There we go. That's better. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Okay, we have another card. And I was trying to come up with a black and white idea. We haven't had one of those for a while. So this one has a little bit of stamping, a little bit of coloring, a lot of die cutting, or not die cutting, but some fussy cutting. And then I used a folder. This folder's in the annual catalog. Love it. It's just full of texture and it's oversized folder. Let me show it to you. Huge. And the name of it is on the PDF folder or PDF file. All right, let's start our gluing. So you're gonna find that you have a basic white piece that goes on the inside. You have a basic white piece to stamp an image on. And then you have a basic white for your sentiments. And the stamps that I used are from one of the paper pumpkins, the Nest of Christmas from last month. I love the cardinal in this, and I love these sentiments. And I know many of you have this stamp set, so I thought it would be a good one to use. And like I said earlier, I'm just finding so much value and use of my paper pumpkin stamps that I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so that goes on the inside there. All right, I use the Memento Black ink pad. You can use whatever color you'd like. I would, if you're going to color, I would suggest either using Memento or stays on. So, or any pad that you have that you can color and it won't run. So not a water-based. So let's get the cardinal on there and let that set for a minute. And then our stamps. So we've got the joyful thoughts to you this season. And then if you want to put something on the inside, you can. Let's put this all over here. Okay, now what goes on here is, first of all, you want to take your ribbon and adhere it to the white piece, the white embossed image or white embossed piece before you glue it down. And I like to use Scotch tape to hold these ribbons on, but you can also use glue dots if you want. All right, and then we're going to glue that on. Now on this, I took the hexagon punch and I just cut a black one, and then I cut it in half for you so you can have a little layer behind. And then when you lay it over the black ribbon, you don't notice that you've got, the layer doesn't completely join. So just pop maybe like a 1/4 of an inch out or whatever you want. But once you get it over the ribbon, then you don't even notice that it doesn't go all the way through. All right, let's get some more dimensionals on that. And again, I'm cutting up these edges. And that goes like that. All right, let's go ahead and put our peppermints on now. Aren't these peppermints just so adorable? All right, here we go. We got the bird now. So I suggest you color the bird before you fussy cut it. And I've used some Stampin' Blends. You can use markers. So this is Poppy Parade. And then I used, for the beak, I didn't have a yellow one, so I used the Crushed Curry marker. So I'm going to go ahead and start with getting the beak in there first. And you could also sponge or use the daubers or the blending brushes if you don't want to color. Up to you. You don't have to stay inside the lines because we are going to fussy cut it, so don't get too wound up about this. I'll go back in with a darker color and add a little highlighting and shading. This is kind of a special card when you get through with it because it's not one you want to do a whole bunch of unless you don't have a lot of cards to send out. I send out about 100 cards, so I try to look for some more easier ideas. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just add a little dark shading and blending around the black lines. All right, that's good. All right, let's fussy cut this. All right, remember when fussy cutting, turn the paper, not the scissors. Then you don't get those ugly cut lines. And you do want to go a little outside the image. You don't want to cut into the image, so you will have a little bit of white showing. That's okay. And I know many of you are way better at watercoloring or coloring in images than I am. It's definitely an art. If you don't have any of the blends or markers, you can use watercolor pencils. blending brush with your ink pad. Lots of different ways to color the image in, or you know what? You don't even have to color it in if you don't want to. It can just be a black and white image. And if you don't have the bird, you can actually just leave your card plain just like that. It looks fine. You don't need to have the bird on there if you don't want to. It is your project, and use what you have and do what looks good to you. Okay, one more dimensional. All right, so that's project number 6, which is what I advertised, that we would have 6. Well, guess what? Merry Christmas. You are getting a bonus project. Let me just get that for you. Okay, when I finished, I had a lot of pretty little scraps left over from the Sentimental Christmas DSP, so we're going to make a tag. And I know many of you purchased this Mary Moore and Tags and Die set. That's one of the Paper Pumpkin add-ons for this quarter. So I thought I'll give everybody an idea of how to use that. I love the size of the tag. This is going to look perfect on a gift bag. So these dies are all from that add-on. And the 2 in the from is also from the Paper Pumpkin kit for November. So if you got that kit, you should have this. And then the Merry Christmas, I didn't have any just Christmas stamps. So this is an older Paper Pumpkin kit from a few years ago. There's a 2 and from on there too. And what I was looking for is something that's kind of spaced out like this one is. The Merry is spaced out, so I could just grab the Christmas easily. So I'll show you how I did that. All right, let's get the 2 and the from on the circle punch. My color is pretty peacock, but any green or red will do. So I had all these pretty little strips of the DSP, the Sentimental DSP, laying around. So yours might be a little different than mine. And I was just like, I can't throw those away. We're going to have a bonus project. And so that's how this happened. So your DSP might be a little different than mine. So what we're going to do with this, there's a couple ways to skin the cat on this one. You could use a marker and just color in directly, or you can use a spot. And so you're just going to grab the part of the image that you want with the spot. So we're just going to gently tap some ink in there and just be careful not to grab the Merry. Okay, so we just got the Christmas. Put that right down here. You want to make sure your stamp is really clean when you're doing this. You don't want any ink on that Merry because it will transfer over. All right, now the fun begins. All right, so now we've got the Merry. I'll put just a little bit of glue. And if you have the fine tip glue, this might be a good place to use that. I'm just going to use my little glue, my little green Tombow glue. Just need a couple little dabs, enough to hold the letters down. You could roll up a glue dot too. I put that at the top. And I kind of wanted the 2 and from to be right under the Merry. So that. I'm going to grab a couple dimensionals to put behind the tag. You could add the tag if you need more Christmas cards. You could just add the tag to a white or red or green card base. And instead of the 2 and from, you could put Merry Christmas or some kind of a holiday greeting. Well, probably not Merry Christmas, but some kind of a holiday greeting. Now we're just going to slide this in, this foliage, behind the 2 and the from, and it kind of hangs off the project. Okay, there you go. And then you've got a little bit of ribbon, and you can just leave that loose and tie it around your gift bag when you get that, or you can make a bow if you want to add it to a card. Just kind of do what you want with that. I'll just leave it like that now. It's kind of loose so it stays on there when I'm ready to use it. All right, so isn't that cute? All right, I hope you enjoyed Christmas fun this year. It's always a fun event for me to prepare for. I do want to remind you of a few things. So the mini catalog, which I use many products from, does end January 6th. And on, I think, January 6th or 7th, the new mini catalog starts, along with Celebrations. So Celebrations runs 2 months, and you will get, if you are one of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, or you are have made a $50 purchase in the last quarter, or you have been a frequent class attendee, you will get one of these in the mail next month, one of the new mini catalogs. So be watching for that. And then just watch around the first part of December for the last chance list to come out, see what's going to retire and things that might be on sale. If you have any questions about your projects or you need any help, please feel free to reach out. I do want to make sure that everybody has a great time with their kits, and want to make sure to help you. I am available to work through that sooner rather than later. All right, have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a very happy and Merry Christmas. There is no class in December. So if you're wanting to get a class, a good option would be to get the Paper Pumpkin for December, which is going to be a great card kit. If you need more details on that, I posted on my blog over the weekend, so you can check there. You can also reach out and I can send you the information. And then January, I am planning to do my annual customer appreciation. It will probably be towards the end of the month, and I'll have more information about that in late December. Okay, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving. Take care. Talk to you soon.